Hi there and welcome to my channel. Today's project is part of the Artist Gouache video blog hub as Altenew is releasing their new Artist Gouache Strolling Through New York set, and this is a beautiful set, especially if you love fine arts, watercoloring, or any sort of mixed media, which is what I'm gonna actually focus for today's card. So you're gonna see I have my entire set. It's a beautiful set. I actually used it to just freehand painting, just had some free time and just use my brushes and went and created a little scene. But today I'm actually gonna use them to create a card. It's gonna be a slimline card, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some of the wash. I'm using coral red. I'm gonna dilute it to color or create that effect of watercolor on some cardstock. So you're gonna see I've put a little bit of the wash on my I have my glass mat. I'm gonna bring some water just to dilute it. I want it to be very fluid so that it runs and I am able to create that watercolor effect. And actually working with wash is something, it has a really nice consistency. This wash from Altenew, and what a wash is kind of a watercolor, but it has a little bit of an opacity, which makes it great for layering and coloring. There's a lot that you can do, so think about working with watercolor with a little bit of acrylic. That's the best way to describe it, and it's a great medium, especially if you like to color or if you like to paint. It's a great medium to work with. So you see right now I've actually diluted some of my paint, and all I'm doing is actually just getting some paper, and I'm using 110-pound heavy cardstock, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to smoosh it on top of the watercolor that I have already on my mat. Now I still have some paint. I want to deepen some of the areas of the cardstock with that color, so I'm going to dilute a little bit more of the paint. Now one of the beauties of the wash is the same as watercolor. You can reactivate it with some water, so all I have to do is just add some water, reactivate the pigment, and then I'm able to create the watercolor. So I did that. I also did a little piece of cardstock with green cardstock for my leaves. So now I'm going to work on the background while my cardstock dries. I am using Parisian Blue, which is part of the Strolling Through New York wash set from Altenew, and I'm going to create a wash that goes in a gradient along a piece of, this is Altenew watercolor paper. So you're gonna see that I've added just a little bit of the Parisian Blue. I'm gonna add some water, and then I'm gonna use one of the watercolor brushes from Altenew just to start painting my panel. I'm going to start with darker colors. So you're going to see that I'm just going with a few brush strokes from edge to edge of the watercolor. Once I have, I'm going to say 2 or 3 brush strokes, I'm going to add more water to the wash that I have there. That means that I'm diluting it. I am in a way just taking away some of the color, some of the blue away. That's gonna be a great way for me to create that gradient, kind of think of an ombre effect on my page. So as I go down my watercolor paper with my flat brush, I'm gonna add more water, and that's just gonna take away some of the blue, and it's gonna give me that nice gradient look on my watercolor paper. So I'm gonna make sure that I fill the whole thing. This piece of paper is around 4.5 inches wide, maybe a little bit bigger, but 9 inches. So that means that I have plenty of space to create my slimline card. Slimline cards are 3.5 by 8.5. So I'm gonna set it aside to dry, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of mixed media. So one of the beauties of wash is that it has a little bit of an opacity compared to watercolor that is transparent. Wash has like a little bit of a, I'm gonna say it's not a chalky effect, but it has that quality. It's just that it goes darker and it can cover the layers underneath. So I'm gonna show you how you can paint with it, and I'm gonna choose one of the purple tones for my background. I already have that kind of reddish orange and the leaf for the green for the leaves. It's gonna be something that's gonna contrast and deepen the background. So I'm going with a little bit of purple. I'm gonna make sure that I mask the area. I just want to create that part at the top. So once again, I'm adding just a tiny bit of the wash. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water, just because I want to make sure that it's fluid for me to paint. And I'm literally just going to paint on top of my stencil. Think of creating an inverted L. This is the grid stencil from Altenew, so I'm just going with my flat brush. Like I said, think about just creating an inverted L on my cardstock. And that's simple as that. You're gonna see how the purple, even though I diluted it with water, because this wash is actually gonna cover the blue at the back. So unlike watercolor, it's not transparent. So keep that in mind. So once my background dries, I'm going to start working on the pieces for my card. I'm going to use the Craft a Flower Open Peony. I'm going to cut the leaves out of, using that die, so I'm going to cut the leaves out of the green cardstock that I prepare. So I'm going to take my time, I'm just going to run it, make sure that I have, I'm going to say around 5 sets of leaves. I love these leaves. And then I'm going to use black obsidian ink and the Simple Roses stamp set and die to actually create the embellishments for my layout. So I'm going to stamp the roses with black ink on top of that coral red background that I created with the wash. So you're gonna see, simple as that. It's just the medium is perfect for you to layer, so I wanted to show you how you can easily stamp on it. So I'm just gonna stamp the flowers. I'm gonna say like 2 of the medium ones, 1 of the large roses, and quite a few of the little buds. And then I'm gonna take it off camera and actually use the die set to just like cut the pieces. Now that I have everything ready, it's time to assemble. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim my cardstock just to create a 3.5 by 8.25, sorry, for the front, for the panel of my slimline card. Once I have that ready, it's all about setting all those flowers and the leaves in a cluster. I want to make sure that it's right in the middle of the page. So you're gonna see that I'm just gonna start putting my flowers in place. I play with a few settings of the flowers. I know that I want to have that large floral kind of as an anchor for the other ones, and I thought about stretching the flowers like from the top to the bottom, but I thought it was going to take over the entire page, and I want to I think it's a little bit too much, especially because I want to create a die cutting title or sentiment for this, sorry. So I'm going to take the bottom blossom out of here and actually replace it with more leaves. That means I'm just going to move the larger bloom a little bit just to create a bit of the flow on the card. Once I have, like, you know, my 2 images in place and my buds and all my leaves ready, I really don't want to move it. So I'm going to bring a little bit of cling wrap just to keep it all together. You're going to see that I'm going to bring the cling wrap, I'm going to lay it on top of my flowers, and then I'm going to press on it. The cling wrap has kind of a little bit of like a tackiness to it that just attaches to the flowers, and that's going to allow me to be able to keep them together in the formation that I have, so that I can put some foam adhesive behind it and make sure that I can pop these flowers from the panel and create that dimension on my layer. So once I have that, you're gonna see that I'm just gonna flip the cling wrap. I'm gonna add my foam adhesive behind it, and then I'm gonna go back and attach it onto my panel. Now here I'm gonna go and add a little bit more dimension. I'm gonna use the instant foam dimension tape from Altenew just at the tips and the corners of the flowers, just to create a lift and create different levels. Once I have that ready, it's all about adding actually a sentiment. For that, I'm gonna use the wishing stamp set and die, and I'm gonna cut the word wishing twice from white cardstock. I'm actually gonna line a little bit of a double-sided adhesive tape behind it. That's just gonna make it easy for me to peel and stick. You're gonna see right now I have the 2 words ready to go. I'm gonna stack one on top of the other one. That's just gonna make it a little bit sturdier. It's gonna make it a little bit more as a chipboard, since I'm using 110 pound cardstock to die cut my words. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use the coordinating stamp to the set. This is the wishing stamp set, and I'm just gonna stamp the sentiment in that little strip at the bottom of the die cut wishing word. And I'm using black obsidian ink for that. I want something that is gonna bring the colors of the flowers onto the layout. Once I have that, I'm gonna actually place my sentiment. I don't want it to go horizontal. I want to add it on a bit of a slant. So you're gonna see that I'm gonna slant it a little bit at the bottom of the page, and then I'm just gonna use a pair of scissors to cut the excess that are sticking on the sides of the panel. All I'm doing now is just adding the little dots of the eyes to the word, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just cut the excess. And all I think I need for this card to be done is a little bit of shine. I'm gonna bring actually some gold, glitter gold enamel dots, just because to bring that little bit of the shine, not too much. I already have a lot going on. There's quite a bit of texture, there's quite a bit of color. I just need a pop of you know, the je ne sais quoi, which in this case is the enamel dots, and that's about it. Super simple. I love the new artist wash. There's a lot that you can do with it. You can be beyond color, you can actually freehand your designs, lots that you can do. And you're gonna see the close-ups of the video. Remember to comment on the video for a chance to win gift certificates to the shop, and to actually comment throughout the videos. In this video hub, I'm the last stop, but you can always go to the comment section to check all the stops. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you soon. Take care, guys.